Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chat channel donations, the Venmo, and the Patreon family we working. Now, shout out to Fight Hype. Link is in the description. They did an interview. Keith Thurman was in Florida where they had Devin Alexander, who looked good in his return fight after 2 years. He had a solid victory, got a knockdown. And Keith Thurman, Winky Wright, Gary Russell, some other people were just in the crowd. Fight Hype had an interview with Keith Thurman, and I gotta talk about what he was saying. In this interview, the question obviously everyone wants to know, what about you and Errol Spence Jr.? And I'm very transparent. I got to be honest with you guys. I was thoroughly disappointed to hear Keith Thurman and his response. Thoroughly disappointed. For starters, he says that the fight is definitely on hold. And he says that's not on my to-do list. That's basically not a high priority for me. But in the same breath, he was going on and he was like, I gotta owe, you know my saying, I gotta owe and I'm not afraid to let it go. And I'm here to be the best champion I could be and the best champion for the fans. But you know everybody wants to see this Errol Spence Jr. fight. And you're saying it's not a high priority, it's on hold, it's definitely on hold. And it's more realistic for 2019 as opposed to 2018. And you guys gotta peep. This is Thanksgiving week. So we haven't even got through Thanksgiving of this year. So we're not even in 2018. And to hear this, there's 365 days in 1 year. Plus, like I said, we still have the month of December and the remainder of November. And you're already talking about not even fighting him in 2018, and we're not even in that year yet. Crazy too. And to me, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the married life or like with Keith Thurman. For me, it sounds like he's in a position where he feels like the big dog. You know what I mean? Like Floyd's gone, Pacquiao is kind of gone. He's a senator. And he's losing to Jeff Horn. He's no longer a champion. So he's not really relevant. Cotto is fighting Saddam Ali, and then he's out of here. So he feels like he's the man. Like, I got 2 belts. No other welterweight has that. I'm the man. But you don't have the same drawing power as a Floyd Mayweather. You have not done one pay-per-view main event that I know of at all, let alone several with million-plus buys. Times are different. The marketing, the game, Premier Boxing Champs and stuff, that wasn't even around when Floyd was fighting, let's say, Arturo Gattis and stuff like that. So it's a different time. And I understand you're the man to beat at welterweight because you're undefeated and you're the guy with the most belts. But this is getting crazy from some of the fighters. Same thing with Anthony Joshua. He's in a very similar situation up at heavyweight. He has the most belts at a heavyweight. Out of all the heavyweights, he has 2. One was through Tyson Fury fucking up, failing a drug test. But he has 2 belts. He beat a Klitschko, and he's, you know what I mean, a big name. And he's talking about, I don't want to fight Wilder. Maybe next year, maybe the year after, maybe the year after that. And then the pressure got real big, and now you hear Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua talking about, okay, maybe we'll make the fight next year. It must happen next year. But that's not what he said to Johnny Nelson initially. And now that's what we're getting from Keith Thurman. And if you look at it, just look at the video. Go look at the Fight Hype video, and the like to dislike ratio is ridiculous. There's 79 likes and 235 dislikes. So you know that segment I have on my show. Here's what they think about you. Here's what they think about you. That shows you something. And the Errol Spence Jr. fight, I told people, he's fighting Lamont Peterson, which I don't even think is a bad fight. You know what I mean? I might even try to get to that fight. I don't think it's a bad fight. But I told some people, the detractors, new media, we're going to break this down. Some people were attempting to assassinate Errol Spence Jr.'s character by saying, oh, Lucas Matisse beat Lamont Peterson and Amir Khan should have beat him. Woo, woo, woo. Why is Errol Spence Jr. fighting him? Errol Spence Jr., by the time he fights Lamont Peterson, he'll be on another 8-month layoff. Before he fought Kell Brook, it was a 9-month layoff. You cannot blame this man. Kell Brook is the one that jumped up 2 divisions thinking he's the shit to fight Golovkin, and then he got his eye broke up, and then now he had to get a medical extension, and Errol Spence Jr. had worked so hard to get to the mandatory IBF #1 slot. He's not going to he had to wait. You know what I mean? Was he going to jump out of line, fight Danny Garcia or something? You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense when you already are the highest ranked guy with the IBF. So he waited. Now he said he wanted to come back this year, but it doesn't look like people want that smoke. First, Keith Thurman, he had this elbow injury, had surgery. He was talking about he might come back late 2017, which I told you, if you guys listen to those old videos, I said I doubt it. He'll probably be back in 2018. Then he was on Showtime, and he was saying he wants to come back to a tune-up. It's not going to be a champion straight away. Fine. I'm a realistic fan. You just got married. You haven't fought since March. You beat Danny Garcia, and you had an elbow/surgery on that elbow. Take a tune-up. Jesse Vargas is fighting next month. Let's say he gets past. You want to fight him, fight somebody like that or whoever. I don't really care who it is next. That's not the issue. Tune-up is fine. And I told people that it wasn't looking good for Keith Thurman and the Errol Spence situation because the walls were closing in. And now you guys see it. All those videos I was making where I was stating what I'm stating now, listen to what I say, like I say all the time. Listen to what people say then and listen to what people say now. And for whatever reason, in my honest opinion, Keith Thurman does not seem like he wants to fight Errol Spence Jr. You could sugarcoat it, you can bend it, pull it, twist it, anything you want to do, but it doesn't look like that wants to be what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? When he was coming for, let's say, when he was up and comer and he was gunning for Floyd, he was like, yeah, this year, Floyd, we burning money. You think you can fight me, boy? And he was like screaming on Floyd, right? So you want to fight a 40-year-old with brittle hands that you're clearly going to be probably mass-wise bigger than, you know what I mean? But then now someone equivalent size, coming off a great performance and a champion, Errol Spence Jr., it don't look like you want no smoke. Now, Paulie Malignaggi, when he was a champion at welterweight, he had beat someone, had a press conference, and Thurman pulled up on him. Like, you better not duck me, son. Better not duck me, son. And just kind of bombarded the whole press conference. You guys do your research. I'm not going to spell it out and leave breadcrumbs and stuff for every video. But you guys do the research. So all I'm saying is Keith Thurman's energy, every single time Errol Spence Jr. is mentioned, from way back when Floyd Mayweather said, oh, Keith Thurman want to fight me? I think I got a guy. He should fight my friend Errol Spence Jr. And then he was like, Keith Thurman was like, why? He ain't done nothing. See, but at that time, Keith Thurman could kind of pawn him off because Spence didn't have this illustrious stacked resume and he wasn't a champion. But the gloves are off now. He's a champion now and he's at your throat. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole different ball game because this would now be a unification. So from way back when Floyd Mayweather mentioned it and I was making videos and you guys were saying, oh, Floyd Mayweather's trying to use Errol Spence as a bodyguard and protection, it didn't seem like Keith Thurman wanted to fight Spence. All the way to present day, this current Fight Hype interview, and Keith Thurman is just like, is definitely on hold. Maybe 2019. It's just getting crazy. Like, I understand you're the man, but Errol Spence Jr. wants to be the man, and that's what happens when you, like Anthony Joshua said, when you in the king's throne, people are coming from the crown. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to protect your front. And that's the nature of the business. But to me, the Thurman's whole energy has switched up dramatically, and it's disappointing because I'm a huge fan of Keith Thurman. I like Errol Spence too, but I like Thurman. Like when he was coming up, when he was calling out guys and saying Maidana pulled out of the fight, and he was boisterous and outspoken but articulate. I liked all that, but I'm not really feeling this talking about is definitely on hold and he's not a high priority. And like, what part of the game is this? If you listen to the interview, Keith Thurman, he specifically says in this interview that Sean Porter worked his way up through the rankings and put himself in a position where he's the number one mandatory, right? Shout out to my dude, Sean Porter and Kenny Porter. But the reality is Sean Porter got injured in his last fight, right? He does want to fight Thurman, but he didn't get the fight this year. You know what I'm saying? So he could still fight, let's say, a Danny Garcia. And he told me that he's open. He said those are the two names he wants, Danny Garcia or Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, my thing is this. What part of the game is this where unifications take a back seat to a mandatory spot? You know what I mean? What sanctioning body, like, Spence has the IBF belt, Thurman has the WBC and the WBA belt, and that's a huge unification involving 3 belts. Why would that take a back seat to a mandatory fight with Sean Porter? And this is no disrespect to Sean Porter. That's my dude. He's deserving of a big fight. He's earned a big fight. But the fact is, it is a mandatory. He fought Granados and Berto. Those were the people he fought to get in the position. And we've seen the fight before. So as a fight fan, I don't mind Porter versus Thurman too. But when are we going to get back to unifications? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And again, when that's like saying the vice president has more authority or power than the president. Like, what part of the game is that? A unification should always trump a mandatory position. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with boxing. We see it all the time. Golovkin, he's maybe going to fight Canelo in a rematch. There's big business in that fight, right? He's not looking for Charlo, from what I've seen. Team Golovkin's not looking to face Charlo. You know what I mean? So it's weird to see the champion who is just so adamant about fighting his mandatory, a guy he already fought, a guy he has experience with, that he sparred with, and instead of doing, it's kind of convoluted if you think about it, because what he's saying, he said, I want to be the best champion I could be. I'm the man. I got 2 belts. Everybody wants what I have, this, that, and the third. And I want to be the best champion I could be for the fans. So all that sounds good, but if it's for the fans, people want to see 2 quality undefeated guys like Spence and Thurman lock horns. So to me, it was very disappointing. And I feel you could tell the Boxing's Pulse was disappointed by the amount of likes to dislikes on that particular video. It's just weird. You're talking about it's on hold, and it's definitely not likely for 2018, and we're not even in 2018. So it's just like, how long are these guys trying to wait for fights? Once again, like I said before, shout out to DeSoto, Texas. Shout out to all of Texas, Houston, Dallas, Arlington, El Paso, Plano, everywhere. You know what I mean? Because y'all got one. Errol Spence Jr. seems to be striking fear. And I'm not saying fear in the sense of like people are just shaking in their boots and, you know what I mean, they're fighters. But at the end of the day, the fear could be, I know he's a threat. I know he's a threat. And I know that's a challenging fight that I have to fight the right fight to beat him. You know what I mean? There's different levels and severities of fear. And like I said before, you can't blame Spence Jr. for this. Spence Jr., he fighting Lamont Peterson, great. You know what? I support that 100% because Danny Garcia doesn't mention Errol Spence Jr. I talked to the Porters. They said they're not ranked with the IBF, so they're chasing the WBC ranking. So they're not really checking for Errol Spence. Keith Thurman's talking about it's definitely on hold. Pacquiao, we know he don't want to fight Spence. You know what I mean? His own trainer, Freddie Roach, is talking about Manny Pacquiao should retire and shit. You know what I mean? Jeff Horn is the only one with balls that called out Spence, but he's fighting Gary Corcoran. So that shows you right there what he's talking about, him and his promoters or whoever. Because if you're like, man, get me Spence Jr. and your team gets you Gary Corcoran, then that's not the same. You know what I mean? That's like if, let's say, one of my coworkers at work, let's say I worked a regular job, and they say, hey, I'm going on a lunch run. And I'm like, yeah, man, I want this bacon cheeseburger with garlic fries and this, that, and I want and a milkshake. And they're like, cool, bet. And then they come back and they give me a bologna sandwich. I'll be like, what the fuck is this? I said I want a bacon cheeseburger with this, that. I would be disappointed. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing with Jeff Horn. If you really and truly wanted to fight Errol Spence Jr., why in the hell are you fighting Gary Corcoran? Crazy, man. But shout out to Bud Crawford. He seems like not the only, but him and Spence seem like the go-getters of the division. And it's just unfortunate that a guy who's new to the division like Terrence Crawford is adamantly calling out and gunning for big fights like that. And guys who have been in the division with 2 belts seem like they're content letting this hold. And like I said, the walls are closing in with this situation, because back in the day when Floyd suggested it, you could front Spence off because he wasn't a champion and he only fought, let's say, Chris Algieri. So you'd be like, that's nothing. You know what I mean? But you can't do that anymore. Times have changed. And like I said, the walls are closing in. And I'm telling you, new media, we on the case. I told y'all since January, tell the truth. Tell the truth. A lot of y'all get mad, say you dislike this fighter, you're hating on this fight. What am I hating on? I'm just giving you my honest thoughts. And to me, Thurman Spence is an excellent fight. Just like Wilder versus Joshua is an excellent fight. There really are no excuses. If you're a real true boxing fan, who wouldn't want to see that? Those are 2 fights with undefeated fighters. All of them have power per capita, per division, and they're all champions. What is boxing coming to? You know what I mean? So bottom line to me is it's not looking good for Keith Thurman's outlook. You know what I mean? And it's not matching up to what he's saying about doing it for the fans, and I'll fight him if the fans want to. And you know what I mean? You're on Showtime with, like, even stuff, man, I could go on all day. I'm gonna end this video. But even when he was on Showtime and doing them press conferences right next to Errol Spence Jr., it was like real cordial. He wasn't like rah or nothing, like, yeah, man, you gonna get it next, boy. You know what I mean? Like he was doing to Floyd Mayweather. Very disappointing stuff for one time. Hopefully Al Heyman or his team reconsiders, because that's a fight that needs to happen. And it's always going to be worse when the appearance or the perception is that you're avoiding the fight. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Should Keith Thurman be checking for Errol Spence, or should he be looking for his mandatory? Unification or mandatory? That is the topic. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.